Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to give my post-fight recap on the Pacquiao-Thurman fight. Start a great fight. I really enjoyed it. I had it 114, 113 Pacquiao. I felt like it was about the closest clear decision I've seen in recent memory. I feel like Pacquiao clearly won the fight, but again, I did only have him winning by a point on my scorecard. I felt like, you know, again, it went kind of how I made a prediction on the fight yesterday. I put a video up, but it went pretty close to my prediction. Pacquiao was the faster fighter. He was actually really more of the power puncher in the fight. He landed the harder punches. Thurman was the one hurt. He did hurt him late in the fight with the body shot, which I talked about in my review when I said I thought he could maybe knock him out in the 10th or 11th. He did land that big body shot and hurt him pretty good. But yeah, overall the fight, really enjoyed it. I'll start off with the positives. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan, so of course it was nice seeing him get a win, another career-defining win. Won't say it's his best win. I mean, he's had so many big wins over the years. I don't want to get caught up in the moment, but certainly a top five all-time Manny Pacquiao win. Taking into account Keith Thurman is a very good fighter, even though, like I said, I've seen some signs of slippage the last couple years from Thurman, the layoff, the injuries, the questionable decision versus Porter, his performance versus Josecito Lopez looked terrible in that fight. But overall, Keith Thurman looked better than I thought he would last night. You could tell he was in top shape. Really, he looked sharp in his own right. Once he got going in the fight, it took him a little bit, but certainly there was the middle rounds, and I know the last two rounds he was boxing well. He landed a lot of hard shots himself, to the body. He put it on Manny a little bit at times. He did. He landed some big punches. Never really hurt Pacquiao, but Thurman did do a little bit better than I thought he would. But Pacquiao did clearly win the fight. So anyway, the positives as a Manny Pacquiao fan. Look, he won. He added a big win to his resume. Unfortunately, I hate to say it so soon after the fight, but I saw some major signs of slippage. Look, he came out, he looked great. He was vintage Pacquiao for 2 or 3 rounds, and then he really kind of slowed down. Still had some big moments, still hurt Thurman, still clearly won the fight, like I said, but man, as really by about the eighth round, seventh, eighth round, you could really see that Pacquiao just didn't have the same sustained stamina that he usually does. Thurman was landing a lot of body punches. I mean, Thurman put a good beating on Manny, and he will be sore tomorrow. Like, Pacquiao's not used to taking that much punishment in a fight. And that's really where being older comes in. Like, clearly Manny Pacquiao's still an elite fighter, even at 40 years old, right? He's a top 3 fighter in his division right now. I can't rank him ahead of Spence and Crawford. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But, he would be very competitive with those guys still because he's a legend and he's still, 60% of what he was, maybe 70, maybe as low as 50. But, he still has quick hands, but just the sustained attack isn't there. And I really want to see Manny Pacquiao have one more fight against Amir Khan, and then I really want to see Manny Pacquiao retire. I don't want to see him fight Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. I don't want to see it. I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to see Manny Pacquiao get hurt. And like I said, being older, he he was supposed to fight. The rumor was he was going to fight Amir Khan in December in Saudi Arabia. And I know after the fight, Manny Pacquiao said he wanted to take off until next year. I think that's because he was feeling a little bit, And one other observation just on Pacquiao, like, he don't really have that same youthful vibe to him anymore. Like, he looks a little bit old in the face now. Like, he looks like one of them kung fu senseis on on an old movie, on an old karate movie or something. Like, he's starting to look a little bit older, and even though he's still very fast and he can still throw combinations effortlessly at times, and he'll show flashes of the old Pacquiao, and he still did just beat a very good fighter, a long-reigning champion, a fighter I have a lot of respect for. But man, I just he can't go to the well like this very many more times. I mean, really, this is probably the best we'll ever see Pacquiao again, because, again, you're 40 years old. Most fighters in this weight do start slowing down, in their early 30s, and it's amazing he's able to still be as good as he is at this age. But he just needs to have the fight with Khan, or another easy fight, maybe even 2 fights. Maybe you have beat Khan, and maybe you have one farewell fight in the Philippines and call it a day, man. You don't have to prove yourself. You fought everybody, man. Pacquiao fought everybody. Everybody there was. I mean, Marquez 4 times, Morales, Barrera, Floyd. You can just go on and on. The guy Cotto. I mean, the guy's resume speaks for itself. He's willing to fight anybody. He don't have to prove anything to anybody with fighting Spence or Crawford. They need to fight each other. They shouldn't even want to fight Manny Pacquiao, until they've done fought each other, and that is definitive. Both of them guys are in their prime. They need to stop messing around. And I know the Spence announced he's going to fight Porter. That's a decent fight. Spence will win the fight. But anyway, going back to this fight, like I said, Keith Thurman did a little bit better than I thought. He got knocked out in the first round. I think he underestimated Pacquiao's speed and power a little bit, and he got caught basically just going backwards with his hands down, and that was a stupid mistake. Didn't really look hurt to me on that knockdown. I thought he was hurt more at other times in the fight, but he did. He rallied well. He showed better stamina than I thought he would. I kind of thought versus Porter and Garcia that he kind of slowed down a little bit late in those fights, whereas I thought, and even the Lopez fight, whereas I thought in this fight, he was the fresher fighter after, like, in the late rounds. Like, he clearly won rounds 11 and 12. And, he, even though he was hurt with the body shot, and I believe round 10, he did a good job. He really did better to me in my mind when he was boxing and moving. I felt like when he was trying to get aggressive and coming in on Pacquiao is when he would get caught. I think if he had to do over it again, he would probably start off boxing. He's trying to come out and bully Pacquiao, and his prediction about knocking out Manny Pacquiao in the first or second round was ridiculous. So he underestimated Pacquiao's speed and power a little bit. A lot of respect for Thurman though. I don't know what his future. I mean, he'll obviously only one loss. He's only 30, but moving forward in this division, there's just better fighters out there right now. And assuming Errol Spence beats Sean Porter, he'll have a couple belts. Terrence Crawford, he's, in my mind, the best fighter in the division, the best fighter pound for pound. I just don't know where Thurman will be a good opponent for one of those guys, but, in boxing, you never want to say that a guy's chance at a title is over because there's so many titles floating around these days. But I don't think we'll ever see Keith Thurman as a true champion in the division again. Even though he still showed me enough that he'll make for an interesting fight versus Spence or Crawford or maybe some other guys down the road. Maybe he can even move up to 154. He's been at welterweight a long time. Not sure if he has trouble making the weight, but he's a big welterweight, and I think he could move up to 154 and do well. That might actually be the best move for him right now. We'll let Crawford and Spence, because really the division's kind of tied up for a while. I mean, eventually Crawford and Spence are going to have to fight. I don't think anybody's going to rush out and fight Keith Thurman without a belt right now. I don't think the rematch, he said afterwards he wanted to rematch Pacquiao. That's not happening. So moving up might be the only option for Keith Thurman right now, unless he just wants to sit and wait around for 2 years at welterweight, hoping he can maybe get Spence or Crawford to fight him after they get done with some stuff. But anyway, I really enjoyed the fight. Moving forward, like I just told Manny Pacquiao, really strongly thinks about retirement. I mean, it's going to end badly if he don't. I mean, he can keep this up for a little bit longer, but eventually he's going to walk into something where it's just going to get old. Like, you can just tell he is defense. Like I said in my review, my prediction, Pacquiao's the better defensive fighter people give him credit for. The Marquez knockout was, like I said, brutal and devastating, but Pacquiao don't really get hit cleanly. I've watched Manny Pacquiao fight just about every time he's fought since the LaBuaba fight on the Lennox Lewis Rockman 1 undercard. I mean, I think I've probably watched every Manny Pacquiao fight since then. And to be honest, I don't really remember seeing him get hurt very many times. He got knocked down a couple times and stuff versus Marquez. I don't really remember seeing him ever hurt badly in a fight, except for the one Marquez giant punch knockout. And I dismiss the earlier fights in his career when he was just a kid and got knocked out. I really don't care about those. But he was getting hit cleanly more than I liked last night, though. He was taking a lot of punishment to the body. He was covering up more, leaning against the ropes more. His legs didn't look as flighty to me. His feet looked a little slow. I don't want to nitpick too much, but in terms of vintage Pacquiao, like 10 years ago, yeah, maybe 60%, maybe 50% of the old Pacquiao. The hands are still fast, but I see a ton of slippage, and I hope he hangs him up after one or two more fights. Hopefully Khan which that's in itself is not an easy fight. I think you would beat Khan, obviously, but Khan can pose some problems with the speed and movement. Especially Pacquiao, would be 41 by that time that fight happens. And then like maybe a farewell fight in the Philippines or something. But well, that's my review for the fight. Yeah, let me know what you guys think.